Good afternoon, friends. I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me here for this session, which I have done earlier once in ERCAD during the regional conference, and it runs for about an hour and a half. So don't worry, I've tried my level best to squeeze it into 30 minutes, and I might skip some of that, but don't worry. If you're interested in it or if you have any queries, you can always mail me. I'll be able to forward the presentation or clarify on it. How many of you know this man? Who is he, sir? Vijay Path. He's Singhania, right? The senior one. Not the one who is managing Raymond's right now. What happened to him? He was on the TV, he was on the news recently. Yeah, he was entered of the house. He was on the streets. He was fighting for his wealth, right? The first man to fly hot air balloon at 69,852 feet, and it's a world record. Accomplished. He was ex-sheriff of Mumbai, and he's a Padma Bhushan and the man behind the Complete Man logo. What happened to him? This can happen to many of us if we don't plan our second line of income. And in fact, I was very much impressed, and I was listening to the earlier events. And many of those questions raised were very, very interesting, very valid questions for this audience. Of course, we all know the famous statement by Warren Buffett that never depend on a single income, make an investment to create a second source. How many of you have thought about the retirement? Yeah, I think almost many of us have thought about retirement. At what age we all want to retire? No retirement at all? Sorry? Before 65, yeah. See, 50. 45, who said 45? Anybody want to retire earlier than 45? I wanted to retire at 25. In fact, I retired at 40 or 45. But in fact, the earlier presentation, my friend Mr. Venkatakrishnan was making a statement. I noted down also. He said, in fact, he spoke about concentration risk, and he said succession is not retirement. I think that is something very important. And to me, retirement is not just keeping quiet at home. Retirement is doing what you like. If you still like this profession out of passion, you're doing it, you continue to do that, not for finance, not for the financial part of it. So I wanted to retire at 25 or 30, but finally I retired at 40, but I'm still doing what I want to do. One is financial planning, and the second one is I'm doing investor awareness programs for SEBI, NSE, and BSE. I've done more than 500 programs. It's a pro bono job, and it's more, something very close to my heart. So you can do whatever you want. Even if you don't get paid for it, you like it, you do it, right? So for that, we have to ensure that, if you want to retire early, there is no point in retiring at 65, sir. We want to travel a lot. We want to go to a lot of places, and we want to visit. And at age of 65, when we retire, the only place we can go is Mayat. Am I right? All of us will have problem. Knee pain. You cannot go to Kailash Manasarovar Yatra. You cannot go wherever you want to go for trekking or anything. So we have to create this second source of income, more so for various reasons. Of course, these are some popular sayings of Warren Buffett, which, Any one of you, have you seen this place or something similar to this? Yeah. Where is it? If you notice that the entire ceiling is made of wood, and the pillar is single piece of wood imported from Burma. And if you look at, again, this is the front part of the house. And this is one single piece of granite in the central courtyard of the house. And this is a typical architecture of most of the houses in this part of the country. So like somebody rightly mentioned, where is this place? Yeah, Karaikudi. And in fact, let me be honest, and I'll tell you that this is my house. Okay. I didn't build it, I didn't build it, so I don't deserve this clap, but my great-grandfather built it 112 years back. It took 6 years for him to build it. So I asked my father, how was it possible to build such big houses? And this is not only in my street, there are only 3 houses. The entire village is filled up with houses like this. And that 76 villages are filled up with houses like this. How did they do that? So I asked my father, and in fact, he told me that at the age of 14, he was coming back from the school. And my great-grandfather was there, worried because there was a telegram. So those days, telegram, now telegram is no more. I think this generation may not know what is telegram. Only telegram, what we know is the app in the phone, right? So there was a telegram, and telegram means something very dangerous. So he could not read English, and the manager he has gone out, so he called my father, asked him to read it. He read that. It said, goods lost, ship drowned, goods lost. Our family business was importing teak wood from Burma. So ship drowned, goods lost. So by the time the manager has come back, so he called the manager and told him that do 2 things. Immediately stop this business because 3 strikes and out. This is the 3rd time this is happening. We don't want to do this business anymore. Second thing, stop Valliyappan's studies. So my father was very worried. He went and asked his grandfather that, why do you want to stop my studies? He said, you know how to read English. Don't waste your time. Go to Burma, where we have our own branch. See, it's very simple. The moment you know how to calculate simple interest or compound interest, and the moment you know how to communicate in one more language, then you are ready for business, right? That's how we were brought up. I asked him that, how did you do this? What is the theory behind it? I studied something similar about Jews and a lot of other communities in India, indigenous, our own people. Most of us think that money makes money. We think that we work hard, earn money. How many of you have read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki? Good, very nice, sir. To see so many people read the book. Very nice book, right? I always think that he came to India and observed these communities and wrote that book, because this is exactly what these people do. We all think that work hard and earn money. We can, if you are a graduate, we push our children to do postgraduate. If he is a postgraduate, we ask him to do PhD. We think by learning more, we think we can make more money. Instead of 8 hours, work for 10 hours. Instead of 10 hours, work for 12 hours. We think by working more, we can make money. But the most successful communities as a whole, if you look at them, it's not 1%, 2%, the communities as a whole. What they have realized is this: money makes money. Money multiplies money. Because we work for 5 days in a week, we can make it 6 days, not more than that. But money does not stop working on a Sunday also. It gets you an interest on Sunday also. No bank tells you that you don't give an interest for because it's Sunday, so no interest. They don't say that. So now, why a second income? It gives you a relief, and really, feel good, and you can build a cash reserve. And second income helps to build confidence, a lot of confidence, particularly because of a lot of technological changes. I'll touch about it later. And it gives you a reserve to fall back upon, which is very, very important in times of uncertainty these days, however successful practice we have, right? Now, why a fallback is needed today? Self-medication, Dr. Google. Many people do, try to minimize the visit to doctors. In cities like, Mumbai or Chennai, it's very difficult to travel, so they do Google and go for medication, which is not right, but then it happens. And the medical advancement and technological obsolescence, artificial intelligence, like artificial intelligence, 3D printing, many things are coming which is going to make many things obsolete in the near future. And then after a period of practice, I have seen some of the doctors, boredom, disinterest in the practice, and aging, retirement. There was a very interesting discussion, the previous discussion about exit, retirement and all those things, succession planning. And many children are not interested. I have spoken to a few doctors. They have very good practice, but they want to hand over to the children, but the children are not interested. They are into something else. So to live life and enjoy life, I think you need a fallback, and you have to plan for your retirement as early as possible. Now, what are the typical second source income ideas or fixed deposits, which we typically rely on to? renting a house, structured products, REITs or real estate investment trusts. Anyone has investment REITs or structured products? Okay. They are good products, but too early to judge about them right now in India. Currency, commodity trading, stocks, mutual funds. In fact, we can even think of, you have 3-4 houses, we can think of Airbnb. If I am in Kumbakonam, I can think of tying up with the Airbnb to rent out my house and get a good income out of it. Buying and selling domain names. It's an interesting business. I have seen many people doing it, but not of late. Blogging. Yeah. So out of this, I have divided it into two. One is active investment ideas which need your active monitoring. And as a practicing doctor, you will find it very difficult to do all these things. But still, some people do that. I have seen that, particularly to my, sorry. Okay. So to some, whenever I go to meet my orthopedician, just 2 minutes we discuss about the health, but almost half an hour we discuss about stock markets. When I come back, feel all right, but not many doctors interact with the clients, customers. No. Okay. Something else is going on, very interesting there. So stocks, currency, commodities, real estate, and gold and silver, this does not, these are things which need your active monitoring and active buying, selling. I have included purposefully gold and silver in it because it does not generate any income, it is only a appreciation. So you have to actively manage this. There are some passive income ideas like house rent, fixed return investments, balanced or debt mutual funds, real estate investment trusts, or structured products, right? So these are some of the products which are available, and there are merits and demerits, but the paucity of the time, I may not be able to touch upon each and every product, but I can give conceptually a different idea, a change in the thought process, what can lead to, how to do things on your own. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Any one of you have attended my programs earlier? I don't see anyone, right? Thank you, then that's good. So I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to market an asset to you, an investment proposition to you. Now you ask me what is the kind of the return it has given in the recent past. I'll tell you that it has not given any return. Will you invest in such asset? Will you? How many of you will invest? 1, 2, 3. Okay. So 3 or 4 of you say that why would you invest in such assets, sir? Right, good. Okay. Now somebody asked me that whether will there be any return in the future. I'm telling you, I'm guaranteeing you that there will not be any return in the future also. Will you still be investing, sir? No. Okay, you talk about appreciation. I'm telling you that there is no appreciation in the recent past. So the next question you may ask is that will there be any appreciation in the future? No guarantee. That may appreciate, may not appreciate. In fact, it can depreciate also. Will you put in your money? Sir? Still you will put in your money. I need a client like you, sir. Well, sir, okay. Some people ask me, sir, it's a tricky question that is it taxable? Is there a tax-free income or any tax benefit is there? Because in India, if you give tax benefit, we will invest even in money back policy or endowment policy, however stupid decision it may be, So what we need is only tax benefit. We don't want to pay any tax. I say there is no tax benefit at all, and then it costs to store. I think now many of you may know that what asset is this? What asset is this? How many of you have invested in this? You need not raise your hands. Okay. Now this is the kind of the investment interest we take because we don't have time. I know some doctors who have gone abroad, still working there. The only thing they know is real estate. Keep buying real estate in the entire ECR or in the native place, and when they come back to settle down, because children will never come back, finally they come back, but they cannot sell even one property. Today, last 5 years, have you tried selling any property? Forget about letting out. Forget about selling. Try letting it out. Very difficult to do that. But this is the only asset class which doesn't pay you anything, and I can apply the same rule ditto to real estate too, right? And very unsafe. Many people tell me, why do you put your money into gold? They tell me it's a very safe investment. Out of all the asset classes, this is the only asset class which can get you killed, right? You open the newspaper every day, you can see on the page 3 somewhere somebody got killed. But still we invest in gold. But whatever we say, people ultimately put their money into gold and real estate because there is some sort of a security in it, right? I'm not saying that we should not be putting our money not into gold or silver or real estate. The most successful people, as I mentioned earlier, they are not successful just because they put all their money into stocks. They are not successful because they put all their money into mutual funds. They are successful because they have diversified their investment, they have had proper asset allocation. You should have a proper asset allocation according to your age, according to your profile, which can keep on changing as you progress, as you get old, right? So please remember this: if you invest in assets without proper asset allocation, this is what happens, right? We'll be running in the same place and thinking that one day we'll get the carrot, we'll never get the carrot, right? The problem with the way we save, because of which we are, very difficult we cannot achieve the core corpus needed for the second line of source of income. Most of our investments like gold or silver or real estate are poor inflation fighters. They are not tax efficient, and we lack disciplined investment, and we do it without proper asset allocation, without applying our mind. Most of you practice for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day. But what is the time you spend on thinking about how to invest this money properly with your advisor or with your chartered accountant or with your friend? Think about it. Half an hour in a day? No. Half an hour in a week? 1 hour in a week? No. I don't think we even spend that kind of a time. These are the 3 thieves which takes our purchasing power. 1, inflation. 2, tax. And 3, new needs. Now, I'm going to touch upon the third point very importantly, because many of us think that the kind of money what we have in 84, 85, my father used to be a big trader in stock markets, and I also used to invest in the market. I'm not a trader. We used to get annual reports of big companies like Glaxo Pharma and all. And I was inspired to do my MBA when I looked at the annual report. The top salary grosser was the managing director of that company, one foreigner, and his salary was $110,000 per annum. So my aim in 1984 was to complete my MBA, and 30 years, when I'm 55 or something, I wanted to earn 1,20,000 a year. This was my financial planning in 1984, 30 years back. Do you think that's enough? Where have I gone wrong? Inflation. But more than inflation, that's what most of us think. Inflation, yes, inflation is a problem. But more than inflation and lack of tax planning on our part, there is something called new needs. I'll touch upon the new needs later. But most of us are parking our investments in fixed deposits. You just look at this chart. I don't know how many of you sitting behind can see this. This chart, this table gives you the real rate of return when you put in your money into fixed deposit, which most of us consider as very safe and secure. The first column is the year from 2001 to 2017, last 15 or 16 years. And every year the FD rate varied from anywhere between as low as 6.5% to 9%. And the inflation varied anywhere between 3.2% to 15%. And the real rate of return, the maximum was 4.2% in 2014, and the minimum was minus 8.5% in 2009. It's hard to believe that minus, but the fact is that it is minus. Now, how do I tell it is minus? In 2008, let us assume that in 2009, you have invested 100 rupees in a fixed deposit. At the end of the year, you would have got 106.5. And with this 106.5, if you go to buy something, what was selling at 100 rupees last year, it is 114 or 115. So naturally, you need 8.5 rupees additional money. Now, post-retirement, what we will do is that without earning, the problem today is medical advancement. 25, 30 years, we live with earning. Another 30, 35 years, we are going to live without any earning on rising medical costs, right? So, if you look at that, you need that 8.5 rupees, you will take it from the next 100 rupees you have in the bank. Now, what happens is the next 100 rupees become 92 rupees or 91 rupee. Next year, that 91 rupees will not be getting you the same rate of return. It will be getting much lower return. You will be again taking out from that 91 rupees, again taking it will become 81, it will become. This is how it like a slow poison, the inflation kills our purchasing power. And one fine morning, we'll realize that the danger of outliving our savings is looming large upon us. More so with the kind of the family structure, what is happening now. We used to have corporate structure, which is Hindu undivided family or joint family. And we had now partnership firm, only husband and wife, it's a joint family. If they live together, it is a joint family. And slowly we are going towards a new structure called, which is a perfectly legal structure called one-person company. In India, from 2015, you can have a one-person company. So many people, this generation don't believe in marriage also. So when these kind of things happen, we push our children to go abroad. It happened in one of my neighbor's home. This person is 75 years and he had a heart attack. And we admitted him into the hospital and the lady was crying. And she wanted me to call his son, and I called his son in US, and the son spoke to the mother, and mother started crying. He said, give the phone to Nagappan. So she gave the phone to me. Then he asked me whether mother is around. I said, mother is around. He said, come out. So I got out of I went to the cafeteria and started talking to him. He asked me, Nagappan, tell me frankly, how serious is he? Hope you understand the meaning of the question. He does not want his trip to be wasted, if he comes. So this is the kind of the family structure which is coming, which puts the burden of living, having a dignified life on us. And with this kind of, without proper asset allocation, if you are going to foolishly park our funds only into certain asset classes, a concentration risk, which Mr. Venkatakrishnan was mentioning a little earlier, that can happen. The second is income tax, and it's a very lengthy subject. I think in the next session I'll be handling it there. Then the third one which I mentioned is needs, ever increasing. 30 years back, somebody above 50 can, identify themselves more with me in this. Much younger people will be finding it very, they will not be able to identify. We never had these things at home. 30 years back, we never had most of these things at home. If we have all these things, at the maximum, if we have a wet grinder, it is a highly automated home. That's all. To buy a gas stove or buy a wet grinder, my father, it took a long time for him to convince my mother. Air conditioner, water purifier, mobile phones. To get one telephone connection, I paid 30,000 rupees under Tatkal scheme. Today, I can buy 10 phones or 20 phones for that money. So these are all the products which have entered our homes now. The problem is not with this. The problem is every time you buy, there is an initial investment, number one. Number two, there is going to be AMC for repairs and maintenance, right? And there is going to be electricity or power consumption. And number four, very importantly, replacement. Let's say there is a doctor sitting here who is about 30-year-old. And he moves up and he buys a car at the age of 25 or 30. Earlier in 88, when I bought my first car, which was an Ambassador, and then Maruti was a big dream those days, you have to wait. I thought that that's going to be my car for lifetime. Ambassador and Fiat were the cars for lifetime. 30 years, 40 years, never change. So one-time investment. But today, at the age of 25, a doctor is buying a car by spending 5 lakhs. If he is going to live for 90 years or 80 years, he is going to change the car at least 12 to 13 times or 14 times, which means he is not investing 5 lakhs. He is committing himself for 60 to 70 lakhs, more than half a crore. Now multiply this with everything, whatever you are going to do. A laptop, once in 3 years, 80,000, 60,000. Mobile phone, once in 3 years, 5 years. You will be amazed that you are going to spend about a few crores into this. So the new needs are going to, we don't know what kind of new needs. I never thought I'll be, I was the first dealer for water in Chennai, Team Water dealer in Chennai in 88. I shut down the shop in 6 months. Nobody bought water. Those days, if you have water bottle and Bisleri in your hand, you're one of the cream people in Chennai. But today, there is oxygen parlor. You pay 500 rupees an hour, you can go and breathe clean oxygen and come back. So we will be paying for air also shortly. So when you do your retirement planning, fix for all these things. And I need not tell you, you're all doctors. These are the 3 things which is very much essential, particularly the first 2. Medical insurance takes care of us when we are alive, and then term insurance takes care of us when we are not alive. And why do I insist on this when I am going to talk about second source of income? If we are going to take a calculated risk, these 2 are essential. If these 2 things are there, all uncertainties are taken care, and we can look forward to take a calculated risk. Okay. I'm not going to touch upon all the investment asset classes, but only one asset class I'm touching. I'm not specifically touching about stocks because most of you may not have time and it is very, very dangerous. I have a slide which tells you that in 1981, if you have invested in Wipro, it would have costed you 10,000 rupees. Today, what is the value? Can anyone guess? 500 crores. But if I show you that slide, it is very, very misleading. Not because it is false information, it is a fact. But not everyone can spot such stock at such price, and you need a lot of time, you need a lot of inputs. And but there are, for every stock I quote like that, there is another stock which I can tell you, like Pentamedia Graphics or Silverline, which was trading at 2,500 rupees, a company called DSQ Software, which is not even trading today, zero, from 2,500 rupees. So markets are very risky, unless otherwise you are able to track it. How many of you could have, even in your own profession, there are some potential opportunities are there. Probably you may know that. If you know that, you do that. I spotted a eye hospital at the rate of 12 rupees 2 years back, and it multiplied 3 times in the last 3 years. I'm sure many of you may not have invested because I checked up with 3. The first thing I do is that if I spot a stock, I go and talk to people in the industry working in that company or in that industry. If they are very negative about it, I'll buy the stock. I have seen it invariably, this happens. So when I spotted this hospital, a South India based hospital, I went and talked to few doctors, and they told that no, it's not. The 12 rupees and they pay, I picked up, it went up to 38, and today it is quoting around 27 or 28. Even today, if I tell you after the program, you may not be convinced about it. But there are some interesting stories. So it all comes, in fact, in succession planning it comes, because see, unless otherwise I corporatize, I cannot disinvest my stake. So these are all certain things which you have to look at, but mutual funds is one thing which I want to touch upon, which gives a reasonably good comfort level for people who are working and who have some other profession seriously. Think about the advantages of mutual funds and take a look at it very seriously. And these are some, I'll just skip all these things for paucity of time. This is something to tell you that the possibility of loss against time. This is a research done by NISM, National Institute of Securities Market. The possibility of loss, because most of us are worried about loss, over a longer period of time, 10 years, is 3%, which means 97% of the time there is no loss. This is what it shows. And of course, if you look at the overall market, there is a volatility. Of course, there are ups and downs, but then the overall growth, it continues to be there. It may be there for next 10, 20 years, as long as our children keep consuming. And for people who say that I don't have time, there is a Parkinson's law, which says work expands to fill up the time available. If I feel that I have time, we'll have time. If I say I don't have time, nobody else is going to take care of our investments. I think we should spend some time on this. And how we behave in case of investments, I'll just, I have another 3 minutes. I'll see, anchoring bias. This is something which we have to look at on what basis. I'm going to ask you a question. Just when you go out, let's assume that your house is here, just when you go out, there is a shop there which sells TV, 10,000 rupees. He also tells you that, sir, a few kilometers out, our godown is there. If you go there, you will get 10% discount. What will we do? What will we do? We'll go to the godown, right? Most of us, right? In every research, this is a research done in, by the Nobel laureate. Okay, now I'm asking you the same question in a different way. You want to buy Honda City, which is about 10 lakhs or 12 lakhs outside. But if you go to their workshop, which is a few kilometers away, he says he will give you 1,000 rupees discount. Will you go and buy? Why? Sorry? Not worth it. Petrol cost and time lost. Now, how much you are saving here? In the first one? Then where? What happened to the petrol and what happened to all the logic there? You very seriously apply your mind. Think about the fallacy, how our mind is twisted. This is how most of the investment, somebody comes and tells you, sir, close your eyes and invest, this is an excellent investment, we'll put in our money. And we also ensure that the other doctor is also invested. When we go down, we drown together. In India, what we do, when electricity goes, what we do? We don't call the EB. We look at the neighbor's place, because then okay, he is also, there is no current there. If it is only in our case, then we'll start talking about why I voted this government, we'll call and blast that fellow. So we want somebody else also to drown. That's how things are happening. The market or mutual fund tells you that there is a risk associated with it. They themselves pay money and advertise in the TV. We are not impressed about it. A neighbor tells you that close your eyes and put your money into this, sir. We close our eyes and put it and lose it. So this is in both the cases you are saving 1,000 rupees. What is more important for you to look at is how much I save. In both the cases I save 1,000 rupees. It is important for me to look at 1,000 rupees than looking at how much it costs. This is called, instead of anchoring your mind, our mind, my mind, into how much I save, this question is twisted in such a way. A lot of research has gone into this question, how to frame the question. It's a very leading question. Okay? They have purposefully anchored our mind into how much it costs. Whether it costs 10,000 or 10 lakh, it doesn't matter. How much I save is what matters. So this is what we do in most of the investments. This is called anchoring bias or anchoring effect. You can read a lot about it in Tversky's book and Nudge, last year Richard Thaler's book also you can read. Now calculate your retirement corpus. How to calculate the retirement corpus? Calculate your current annual expenses, provide for inflation, provide for higher medical expenses, provide for taxes, provide for additional needs, and project annual expenses based on that, and then calculate the corpus needed to generate this, and also think of reducing interest rates. Instead of don't calculate at 8% or 9%, it will get reduced over a period of time, and then increase the corpus accordingly, whatever corpus you arrive at. And now you will know where you are. And this is a target which you have to create to have the second source of income, right? Now, do's and don'ts: never borrow and invest. Invest only your surplus savings. Invest. These are all general. Yeah, I'll just keep it through. Okay. I would suggest you to read the first book, a very simple book like a guide note. He's been publishing this for the last 30 years. All asset classes are written 3-4 pages in this book. Very nice book. Simple book. Don't look at not very confusing or not very high level books like Security Analysis by Benjamin Graham. I don't want to suggest that book to you. You may not have time to read that book. This is a simple book you can read. And look at the first website, and I would request you to give that link of the first website to your children. Because I also do most of this program like ISR, like individual social responsibility, like CSR. And that website contains a lot of material for your children, for you, me, for all of us on financial planning, the need for financial planning, saving and investing wisely across the asset classes, not only in stocks or mutual funds, right? And of course, you can get many tools like this in many programs, but it all depends upon how we use it, right? And of course, it needs, self-medication is always very dangerous, right? So I remember my father always used to take me to my doctor, family doctor. He'll go and tell him that all the symptoms he will tell him, and after that he'll also tell him that this is the medicine to be written. Typically, this is what every time happens, the doctor will say that, why do you bring him to me? So have an investment advisor. It's worth having someone like that. This is what most of us do. The first counter says that those who have time stand here. The second counter says those who don't have time stand here. We all don't have time, so we go and stand in the second queue, right? So don't do that. Think differently, because if you do like this, what happens? One of the most famous investor, Howard Marks, to be a superior investor, you have to think differently than others. If you all do is embody the consensus, you will act the same. If you act the same, you will perform the same. I think this is something very important to remember. And most of us are trying to be, there is something called theory of averages. There is nothing wrong with that. If you can have, if you are a contented person, there is nothing wrong. There is a movement called freeganism, so there is nothing wrong to be like that also. But then today the society is very different. So never depend, once again I want to reiterate this, and keep on building assets which will generate income on its own without your interference as a passive income, so that you can retire much early, do whatever you want to do, still continue to practice the profession and do save people. And please feel free to mail me at any point of time. If you have any questions, I think maybe 1 minute we can take. Otherwise, you can always mail me and I can, yeah. Sorry? LIC? Pension plan. There is one good LIC pension plan called Jeevan Akshay. Normally, I don't suggest money back policy or endowment policy, because those are meant for the insurance agents, not for you and me. But that Jeevan Akshay is a good one, which gives 7% return approximately, and assured return for a longer period of time. Not because the return is good, but they are also giving it for a longer period of time. But remember, that is taxable, right? I would still prefer RBI bond at 7.75% Government of India gives you. I once again thank Dr. Senthil for giving me this opportunity to address you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nagappan.